This show is sponsored by NatureBox. Order great-tasting, healthy snacks right to your door. Forget the vending machine and get in shape for summer with healthy, delicious treats. And they're great for you, too. We're talking healthy and great-tasting snacks like PB&J granola, pistachio power clusters, baked sweet potato fries, South Pacific plantain chips, and over 100 more. All with zero trans fats, zero high fructose corn syrup, and nothing artificial. You'll even find snacks that are gluten-conscious and non-GMO. And with free shipping anywhere in the contiguous states, NatureBox is busting up the vending machine's monopoly on your midday hunger. Support this podcast and get 50% off your first order. Go to naturebox.com/blogtalk. That's naturebox.com/blogtalk. Time to snack smarter. Stay full, stay strong. Go to naturebox.com/blogtalk. That's naturebox.com/blogtalk.
Blog Talk Radio.
What is up? What is happening? It's your girl, Davani Vet, and this is a special edition of Justified Manners on Blog Talk Radio. And in case you've been hiding under a rock for the past week, we are talking about a few items that have been in the headlines. And it is NBA playoff season, one of my favorite times of year. And unfortunately, the playoffs were kind of, the headlines were kind of taken away from the game because of some remarks that were made by a team owner. You know who I'm talking about. Now, I should say former L.A. Clippers owner, Donald Sterling. And let's backtrack and start at the beginning. It all started with a picture that went out on Instagram by his girlfriend, and he's a married man, by the way, so that in itself is kind of a story, but I digress. Anywho, girlfriend posted a picture on Instagram with Magic Johnson, legendary NBA player / mogul. Okay, so, and his reaction, not only is he upset about the picture, he's just going on about, well, why do you have to associate with black people? And if you're going to associate with them, don't put it out there on Instagram for everybody to see as if somehow, you know, people of color are from some other planet. But anywho, this has all led to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver banning Sterling for life from the NBA. Now, there are so many levels of this to discuss on for so many reasons. Not only these absolutely outlandish comments, and on top of that, this plantation mentality, if you will, about how because he signs the paychecks, he basically owns the players. Yeah, you own the team, as in the franchise, but you know, slavery days ended centuries ago, so you don't own human beings. But anyway, what are your thoughts, your opinions about this whole fiasco? Your thoughts about his comments? Do you think that the penalty he received was fair? You think it was too much? Maybe not enough? Or to the whole core of it, should his private comments, now remember, this wasn't something that he posted on Twitter or Instagram. This was a private conversation that was recorded and then leaked to the public. Should that private conversation have been used for him to have this kind of backlash? What's your opinion on it? Join me in the chat room or give me a call. 619-638-8436 is the number. And while we're talking about the NBA, before I go to this first musical selection, I want to end on a positive note by saying shout out to my Miami Heat, yes. And for those of y'all who think I'm just like on the Miami Heat because of LeBron, let me tell you, yes, LeBron is one of my favorite players, but I was rocking Miami Heat jerseys back when Zoe was playing, Alonzo Mourning. Okay, I am not a hop on. So, shout out to the Miami Heat who swept the Charlotte Bobcats. And shout out to, of course, I got to give a shout out to the home team. The Washington Wizards did their thing, eliminated the Bulls, and they are moving on in the playoffs. So definitely much love to them and much love to OKC who pulled off a win tonight. And, you know, I'm a basketball fan, so, of course, this whole thing grabbed my attention. And before I get off on tangent about that, let's get into Mac Wild. And this is something that Sterling can no longer say about the L.A. Clippers. He don't own it, okay? Justified Madness with your girl, J1 Yvette. 619-638-8436 is the number. Give me a call. Let me know what you think. Justified Madness, y'all. Then one Mac Wild and own it. At the top of the hour, we started out talking about the whole Donald Sterling situation, and got a couple of DMs. Thank you, Tracy, for tuning in and giving me your opinion. Tracy in Richmond, she says, even though it was a private conversation, it's a good thing that it did come out because it let everybody know who he really is, and he deserves to lose the team. And have a lot of people who agree with that opinion. But on the other end of things, I've got Miss Dee in Los Angeles. She says that she feels that the penalty was a little bit too stiff just based on the fact that it was a private conversation and the fact that he was angry, that maybe he said things that he would not have otherwise said. So looking at it from different situations now, the way I see it, yes, when we're angry, we tend to kind of go to the extreme. However, even though we may go to extremes when we're angry, it's kind of an extreme of what's already there. And this is my opinion. And for the legal standpoint, I do have to point out any opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions or views of Blog Talk Radio or Spreaker. Just had to put that out there. But in my opinion, yes, you may say something in anger that you may not otherwise say. However, if it comes out in anger, that's kind of when you take off the mask. So if it was said in anger, it's something that was in his heart anyway. And to call someone the N-word and to say things like, well, I enable you to have that car because I sign your paycheck, to me, and again, this is my opinion and you're free to disagree with it, but I feel that if that's the mentality that you have, if I feel this way about, I'm a woman of color, and if I feel a certain way about another race, then for me to say, well, I'm high and mighty and I sign your paycheck and, no, that's to me, that's not the mentality to have if you're running a business. You have to look at the people who work for you as equal to you because, hey, they are. Those guys are, yeah, he's signing the paychecks, but those guys are putting in the work and putting their bodies out there on the line to make that money for their families and for their fans. And to me, it's just wrong to have that kind of mentality. And though it did come to light via a private conversation that was leaked, eventually the mask would have come off anyway. So I kind of have to agree with Tracy on that one. If you would like to weigh in on the conversation, 619-638-8436 is the number if you'd like to call in and talk to me, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JWannyVet1, JWANYVETTE, and the number 1. Follow me. I do follow back, and feel free to DM if you're a little more shy and don't want to go on the air. It's cool. You can DM me your and I will get on the air. A little bit up. For Twitter followers, definitely you want to follow him, MADGICMAN, and the number 1 on Twitter. And one more shout out to Rude Boy Roscoe at NYC Rude on Twitter. Thanks for the follow. Much love to all my Twitter followers. I'm like geeking now because I have over 1,000. You guys make me feel popular. Now, switching gears though, another topic that I wanted to cover that has been, as you know, I'm in the D.C. area, and this has been in the news. So many children go missing, and I do want to give a shout-out to WUSA 9 in Washington, D.C. for their Bring Them Home campaign. During their news on Thursdays, they show photos of local children who are missing. And I'm sending out a tweet now. Definitely follow them on Twitter at WUSA 9, hashtag Bring Them Home. And we are right now going into month 2, looking for 8-year-old Relisha Rudd. Now, this particular case is close to my heart because I work with elementary school children, and just something about this little girl grabbed my heart. she was staying in a homeless shelter with her mom and went missing after her mom allowed her to leave with a janitor who was working there. In case you're not in the area and don't know the details, just a little background on that story. She was seen at a hotel with the janitor, and later his wife was found murdered. He was later found dead of an apparent suicide. His child is still missing. A lot of criticism coming from the general public regarding her mother's and grandmother's reactions. I have my own opinions, and I will kind of hold them to myself. But just a lot of people seem to feel that the police dropped the ball in many cases. A lot of people feel that the mom dropped the ball by allowing her child to leave with someone who, from the public standpoint, would be a perfect stranger. Of course, we weren't there. We don't know what the relationship was. But, again, any opinions that you have about that particular situation, I'd love to hear them. Do you feel that the police have done enough? Or maybe, we always have to keep in mind there are things that maybe we don't see on the news that maybe the police can't share with the general public because it's an ongoing investigation. But just if you have any opinions on this particular case or just the Bring Them Home campaign in general, I'd love to hear from you. 619-638-8436 is the number, or join me in the chat room. And right now I want to get into another musical piece, and for anybody out there, and it's not O.Dot Twist on Justified Madness.
Yo, what's up? This is John O.
This is Priest Forever.
And we are
the
Gecko Brothers. And right now, you're listening to Justified Madness.
Yes, so make sure you listen every time it's on the air. That's what's up.
And stay gecko.
Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Get your mind right. They hating on me cause of the things I stole, or the cream I hold, or the things I sold. I'm just on the clock waiting till my dream unfold. See my foes debate, they can't believe I'm cold. It's a cold world, I gotta reheat my soul. I'm grinding, they crying like a 3-month-old. 3 blunts rolled, I'm ready, nigga, pass that black. Get ass caps to pay me for my abstract rap, nigga. I'm the truth, better hashtag that. I'm so dope, them things are yelling, that's that crack. Nigga, scratch that track, better say it with your chest. This a big man thing, homie, you playing with the best. Got Brooklyn on my back, probably tatted on my face. But that'll be too much, I end up having to erase. But still it's in my heart, and that can never be replaced. The story of my life, I'm simply handing you a taste. Get your mind right, homie, get your mind right. Get your mind right, shawty, get your mind right. Get your grind tight, looking for your limelight. Get your mind right, get your mind right. Get your mind right, homie, get your mind right. Get your mind right, shawty, get your mind right. Spend your time right, looking for your limelight. Get your mind right, get your mind right. How you so turned up when your phone is turned off? Your lights is turned off, your heat is turned off. You hardcore hustling, knuckles done turned soft. I'm an angel, my dude, my wings just burnt off. I yearn to earn you, more concerned with the cost. Return what you bought, homie, learn to be a boss. And learn to take a loss, I accept it with a force. Don't tell me about a hater, unless it's coming from the source. I see who really grind the most, just a handful. Rest of those clowns are broke, poor example. I'm in the zone where only fake chickens love me. I'm eating good, little knuckle face, getting chubby. I got my mind right, y'all gon' hate my discovery. Your attitude need makeup, it's too ugly. Stop hating for the sake of hating haters. I won't stop waking cause of y'all snakes later. Get your mind right, homie, get your mind right. Get Get your mind right, shawty, get your mind right. Get your grind tight, looking for your limelight. Get your mind right, get your mind right. Get your mind right, homie, get your mind right. Get your mind right, shawty, get your mind right. Spend your time right, looking for your limelight. Get your mind right, get your mind right.
Madness on Blog Talk Radio with your girl J1 Yvette. That's that twist with Get Your Mind Right. And much love to my girl Alex and also Amina. They are my official promo team captains, and Alex is running it from the East Coast. Amina's on the West Coast, and you can follow them on Twitter at Team J1 Yvette, and follow me at J1 Yvette1. I do follow back and all that good stuff. If you got questions, if you got music you want me to listen to and play on the show, I got you. That's what I'm here for. And normally I'm not on Thursday nights, but I wanted to come in live and direct, talk about some of the things that you guys came to me with and told me that you wanted to weigh in on. And I got another DM. This one is coming from Melissa in Miami, and she actually is originally from the D.C. area and has been following the Relisha Rudd case, and just so many questions, so many unanswered questions, and, of course, we're all praying. She's offering her prayers, and I am as well. We're continuing to pray that not only Relisha, but all of the children that are missing come home safely. And all of us who are moms, it's definitely something that touches our hearts. And I do remember when my daughter was actually that age, she decided to go home with a friend of hers from school and didn't tell me. And for an hour, I was just absolutely out of my mind with worry. Thank God she was fine, and she came in, and no harm done, and everything was fine. But that hour, I remember, was the longest hour of my entire life. So I can only imagine what parents are going through whose children have been missing for days or weeks. And most definitely, I keep those children and those families in prayer. If I know the names, I lift up the names. Even if I don't know the names, anyone out there who has a child or a loved one who is missing, most definitely, I keep you in my prayers. And thank you to those who have sent me DMs and given me your messages to pass along. And don't be shy. If you want to come on the air, I'm still here for about another 6 or 7 minutes. This one number. That I've had a few people come to me with that they wanted me to weigh in on this round. You know what? It's just getting way too soon for me to even keep up with. Apparently, he was kicked out of rehab for not following the rules, which has led to him being locked up. He was in rehab as an alternative to prison, but because he was kicked out of rehab for not following the rules, he is now in prison and facing trial in D.C. for apparently he and his bodyguard beating up a doorman at a hotel. Well, the bodyguard has since pled guilty, to my understanding, so this has kind of left Chris we're not quite sure where they're going with the trial now. It was supposed to happen last week. It's been postponed until I don't know when. I need to do a little research and find out exactly what the details are. It changes so fast, I can't keep up. But I do know, you know what, a lot of the media wants to tear a brother down. All I can say is, you know what, my prayers are with him as well. You know, sometimes when fame is thrust upon a person when they're too young to handle it, which in my humble opinion, I feel kind of what's going on with stars like Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, etc. You know, there's think of it this way. If you know, Chris Brown hit the height of his career or you know, first came into fame at the age of 16. So you think of, you know, a boy 16, 17 years old who basically is now in the public eye, has girls and grown women throwing themselves at them. It's a little much to handle, really at any age, but especially when you're still, you know, barely through puberty. So it's not much of a surprise to me that they don't know how to handle it. And then, of course, we put these guys on a pedestal and idolize them, worship them, and then when they turn out to be bad boys, we want to say, well, what the heck went wrong? You know what? Our celebrity worship society is what went wrong. And I say that, you know, not really trying, not in a disrespectful light. I am a huge music fan. I am a fan of various different bands and artists, Chris Brown among them. However, when it comes to their private lives, I try to distance myself as far from that as possible. Reason being, once they go off stage or once that CD is over, they don't owe me that part of them. And I think that's what we forget. We look at these guys because they're on TV, they're on the radio, they're everywhere. We as a society begin to think, well, they owe us everything, and they better stay, you know, they. You know, all them all kinds of names. You know, we just don't know how to handle it when they're not perfect. But guess what? They're human beings. They just happen to be in an industry that throws them into the public eye so that every little thing they do is being watched by millions of people. So that being said, I'm not going to jump all over Chris or Justin or any of those other guys. I just want to say, you know what, more, I pray for them, pray that they find their way, and you know what, go back to the focus of what got them into the industry in the first place, just making good music because they're just so darn talented. And that's my take on it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to those who did contribute. Once again, shout out to Alex and Amina at Team J1 Yvette if you want to follow them, at J1 Yvette1 if you want to follow me, and that's also my Instagram and Twitter, and ReverbNation.com/J1Yvette1, all that good stuff. And I will be back with another edition of Spoken Word Wednesday coming up next week. Thank you for tuning in, and I want to end on a very positive note with one of my absolute favorite new gospel artists. And this is actually one of my absolute favorite gospel songs, and it's two very powerful words. These two words are such a powerful testimony for so many of us. This is Isaac Carree, But God. Justified Madness with your girl, J1 Yvette. God bless and good night.
You know, people have no idea what you went through to get to where you are. So many times it seemed like it was over. But God, Isaac Carree, tell him about it.
Every time I think that I'm all by myself. Oh, yeah. I just look up in the sky, and that's where I find my help.
Somebody needs to hear this right here.
You might think that you got it all worked out.
Yep.
And you think that everything's okay. Yeah. There ain't nothing that you've done to deserve His mercy and His grace.
He gives us what we don't deserve. That's why we say it's amazing.
You about to lose everything.
Yep. I know I'm not the only one who's been there.
When the doctor said any day.
Yep. He made the doctor.
And the devil tried to test your faith.
He thought he really had you this time.
Yeah. Nobody's Give me one good reason why you should still be alive.
Let me think about it.
Yeah.
I don't have not one, I said.
That answer did you pass last night was meant to save your life.
If you be honest, if God hadn't covered you,
it would have been you in the grave.
Yep.
Could have been you with the pain. Right. When the judge said 20 to life, should have been calling your name, but there ain't nothing that you done to deserve His mercy and His grace.
Can I get a witness on that? Thank you, Isaac.
You were about to lose everything. Yep. When the doctor said any day.
Then you went back and they couldn't find nothing.
And the devil tried to test your faith.
If you're grateful for a but God in your life, just say
nobody's just know that there ain't no situation that you come out of on your own.
He's always been there with you.
Right in the middle of the last zone in your life. You might have thought you were by yourself, but He was right there by your side.
Right there.
You were about to lose everything.
In the hospital with your baby.
When the doctor said any day. And the devil tried to test your faith.
You thought it was over. How did you make it? You thought you couldn't make it. But look at you. You're still here. All because. That's to every survivor listening who's ever been counted out and even canceled out. And your situation may have looked impossible. And now people are looking for an explanation on how in the world you made it through what you went through. Now, I don't want you to let everybody know your business, but I just want you to look at them and give them the short version of your testimony. And just tell them, you know what? It was nobody.